Hey friends, welcome back again to my channel or to my Instagram page, depending on where you're watching this from. Let me first start with thanking you guys for sticking around with me, for following me, for liking my content. I really appreciate it. For the referrals, thank you so much for reaching out to me with your immigration concerns and needs. Thank you guys so much. Please keep it coming, keep it coming. I will continue to do our best for you, to fight for you, and we won't stop until you win. Yes, we won't stop until you win. That's why we're in business. That's why we're here for you. And we listen to you and we provide you a tailored approach to solve your immigration issues or concern. Yes, that's what we do at Love is Softener Over. So thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. So let's delve right into it. This video is for those who are applying for US visas, either to come in as a student or as a visitor. So you want to watch this video. Recently, especially if you're from certain African countries, there's been a very high rate of visa refusals. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about some of those reasons so that it helps you better prepare if you have an upcoming interview or if you plan to apply for a US visa. So let's get into it. So let me start with this. Visa officers, by training, are to presume that an applicant for a US visa is not qualified. Yes, you heard right. So by training, they are to presume that you don't qualify for the visa. The onus falls on you, that is, the burden falls on you to prove to the officer that you qualify for the US visa. So they start here, and the presumption is already against you. It's not in your favor. So you have a lot to do to demonstrate to this officer that you have a legitimate interest of wanting to come to the United States. Now, what are some of the reasons behind visa refusal? Number one, applicants are poorly prepared. I mean, there are times or there are situations where the applicants don't even know what they are going to do there. I mean, as bizarre as it sounds, yes, it's happened, and I've seen it happen several times. It even happened in front of me. This was several years ago when I applied to come to the United States to obtain my master's degree. The lady in front of me was asked by the consular officer, "What is the duration of your program?" And she had no idea. It goes without saying that she was denied the visa. So you have to be prepared. If you're coming to school, you want to know everything about the school. You want to know your start date. You want to know your end date. You want to know whether your program is in months or years. Because sometimes the I-20, which is the document that the school gives, can say 1 year or 10 months. So note that 10 months and 1 year are not the same thing. So even though 10 months seems like, hey, it's typically 1 year, no, you have to know the exact duration. So if it's 10 months, you have to tell the officer 10 months. If it's 12 months or 1 year, you have to tell the officer what exactly has been written on your I-20, right? So you want to know about the school, you want to know about the course. So you really want to be prepared. And if you're coming to visit, you want to know the hotel you're going to be staying or Airbnb or whatever it is you're going to be. You really want to be prepared, and you want to be able to convince the officer that you have a legitimate interest of being in the United States. Number two, applicants provide short or uninforming answers. The consular officer asks, "What are you coming to do in the United States?" And somebody just says, "Study, visit." I mean, that's not enough. You have to elaborate. You have to talk about that study. You could say, for instance, "I'm coming to the United States to obtain my master's degree in law. I'm going to be specializing in criminology, and I've chosen criminology because I particularly am interested in forensic science. Forensic science enables me to unravel mysteries behind crimes and things like that." Hey, I've just made this up, right? So you want to express your interest. You want to say, you don't want to just stop and say study, or you don't want to come and just stop and say visit. You say, "Hey, I'm coming to the United States to visit or to have a vacation," or whatever it is. Like, I mean, I've been a manager or whatever it is you do at your work, and it's been quite stressful. So I've booked a resort in United States, a so and so city, and in this resort I'm going to go snorkeling, I'm going to go zip lining. I'm also going to be trying variety of foods. I mean, you want to demonstrate a legitimate interest, that you know what you're doing, and you want to be explanatory in your answers and not provide short answers. Okay. Now, if you're a student or you're a visitor, if you're a student, does the school you apply to, the United States, does it matter? Theoretically, it shouldn't matter, because all institutions are legitimate institutions, right? And the US Embassy cannot show preference over one institution over the other. But in practice, is that the case? No. If an applicant got into an institution like Harvard, Yale, or one of those Ivy League institutions, these institutions already have a reputation. And the officer is most likely aware of the reputation of these institutions. And they know that for an applicant to have been able to get in, the applicants must have very sound academic abilities. So the reputation of the school, by some degree, helps your chances of getting the visa. Now, if it's a school or just a school that is not known, or a community college that the officer probably does not know, you probably will have a lot to prove to the officer that you really want to come to this school or community college. That's not to say, oh, you must go to an Ivy League school. No, I'm just saying that in practice, really, the reputation of the school sometimes goes a long way in determining whether you get the visa or not, even though theoretically they should not take preference of one school over the other. Now, also for students as well, the officer could ask you, have you applied to other schools? And then you could say no, or you could say yes, or you could say, oh, I applied to ABC College. Well, when the officer asks that question, you don't necessarily have to have applied to other schools. That question, the officer is only just trying to understand your academic journey, right? To understand where you're coming from. Oh, I applied to ABC College, and I applied, okay, so let's say you applied to 2 schools. You can't just say I applied to ABC and CDE College. No, you have to elaborate on it. I applied to ABC College because they were offering forensic science, and forensic science with a concentration in crime analysis or something like that. And I also applied to BCD College because BCD College, even though they were